This film's most important conversations have no words. The story is told in a hidden language of glances and looks.
Vous me voyez comme ça?
But today, we're gonna learn how to read it.
Et vous le regardez.
The film begins with a lie.
Vous vous sentez capable de faire le tableau de cette manière?
Marianne is hired not as a painter but as a walking companion. Her job is to steal the image of Eloise in secret. This is the artist's gaze. It's objective, analytical, and it's dishonest. But Eloise refuses to be a passive object. She looks back. When Marianne's stolen portrait is revealed, it's technically accurate, but it lacks life. It lacks presence, because it was painted without permission. It was an image that was taken and it wasn't given. This progression is a deliberate subversion of the myth of the male artist and his passive female muse. In traditional art, the gaze flows in one direction, but Sciamma creates a feedback loop, a conversation. Eloise is not just the subject of the painting, she becomes a collaborator in its creation. The collaboration begins in the scene where Eloise agrees to pose. When Marianne tells her to look at me, the camera holds on her but then reverses, showing us Marianne's own reaction to being seen. We really feel her being truly seen in this moment, and it's in this reversal that the power dynamic is changed. The act of looking becomes a shared experience, an exchange of power and the foundation of their intimacy. Everything changes when Eloise agrees to pose. The power dynamic shifts, the artist's gaze becomes the lover's gaze, and it's no longer about one person observing the other. It is a collaboration, a question of equality.
Regardez. Si vous me regardez, qui je regarde moi?
So we understand the language of looking, but the film's director, Céline Sciamma, has a problem. How do you visually represent a forbidden love? Her solution was to place their characters inside a prison made of composition. This feeling of confinement is reinforced by the film's colour palette. The interiors are dominated by these earthy browns and deep blues, while Eloise's green dress acts as a flash of life, a symbol of nature that's trapped indoors. Every element of the production design serves a single idea of a beautiful yet ordered prison. But these formal frames serve a second purpose. They mimic the nature of memory. Our memories are not like handheld footage. They tend to be perfect and static compositions. By framing the past this way, Sciamma suggests that these moments have already become idealised memories in Marianne's mind, each one a perfect, silent painting that she can return to. Nearly every frame is structured like a classical painting. This composition feels like a direct reference to art history. The kitchen scene, as the three women form their own collaborative world, it echoes the 17th century piece Las Hilandras by Diego Velázquez. In that painting, Velázquez uses this frame to show how women of different classes united in the act of creation. Sciamma does the same thing, using the frame of the kitchen to create a sanctuary where aristocrat, artist, and maid become equals. But when they are alone, outside, the compositions break down. The camera becomes handheld and the frames are messier, they're more energetic, they're more alive. They've escaped their canvas and for a fleeting moment they are free. But when they are forced back inside, how do they keep that freedom alive? Sciamma gives us the answer with the language of light. The formal rooms of the house are often cold and sterile, but the intimate moments are almost always lit by a single living source, fire. This firelight also illuminates the film's central myth, the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. As they debate why Orpheus turns around, they are really debating the nature of their own story. Does he choose the memory of her over the reality? It's a question that haunts the final moments of the film, suggesting that a memory, like a painting, can be its own form of possession. The film offers a final, radical interpretation of the myth, when Marianne suggests that perhaps it was Eurydice who told him to turn around. This feminist rereading gives Eurydice agency in her own story. She's not just a passive victim of a lover's choice, but an active participant who chooses her own fate, a theme that echoes throughout the entire film. As a filmmaker, lighting a scene with practical firelight is a deliberate challenge. It's a choice to embrace warmth, softness, and danger. All of that culminates in the film's most iconic image. This fire is not an accident. It's the hidden feeling, the passion they cannot speak, made visible. It is the portrait of a lady on fire. So the gaze, the canvas, and the flame, they are not just techniques, they are the vocabulary of a hidden language. A language that argues art is not just about capturing a subject, but about the memory of the time you spent looking. It teaches us that love is not just to look, but to truly see.